Baltimore was burning and police officers were being attacked with garbage, bottles, and chunks of concrete, their top brass was telling them to, quote, hold the line and do not engage with protesters, despite being told that didn't happen. At least that's what they claimed to the public for weeks now. Here is some police dispatch audio that has just been uncovered.
Area patrol was been advised not to respond down to the protesters.
Not to respond. Leland Vittert broke the story on the original stand-down order, and he joins us live now in our New York City newsroom. Leland?
Megyn, my sources now tell me they feel vindicated that the truth is out. The police commissioner and mayor are hiding behind this defense of telling officers to, quote, hold the line, not stand down as we reported. Well, hold the line means don't go make arrests, don't confront the rioters and looters, essentially telling cops, don't do your job. The video from that night shows them doing just that. Nothing. Officers took those orders to mean exactly what they did, stand down. And despite repeated denials from city leaders about a stand-down order, we now have police scanner traffic from early on in the protests.
The group is southbound, and once again, to all the units in patrol for unified command, do not engage and stay on your post.
So we know what the cops were told, both from our sources and from the radio dispatch tapes. Plus, we have the video of them doing nothing in the face of lawlessness, even as they're being attacked. So, who is responsible? The police commissioner admits to the, quote, hold the line order and says officers might have been confused. But what about the mayor? Once rising star of the Democratic Party and frequent guest on national news, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake explained the mayhem this way.
It's a very delicate balancing act because while we tried to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well.
Never mind for a moment, she later denied saying those very words. As you might remember, though, she simply didn't speak when we asked her very simply why police had their hands tied. What do you have to say to the businesses who were looted because of your order to stand down?
Can you excuse me 1 minute?
You don't have anything to say? Nothing to say to the business owners. What about to the police who are injured?
Excuse us, sir.
I'm sorry. Hey, excuse me. Hey! Why can't we ask questions? Why can't we ask questions? The mayor's spokesperson now tells the Baltimore Sun a stand-down order never happened. So it becomes a fairly simple question. Who do you believe? The mayor or the tapes? Megyn?
He's now saying, oh, okay, so the Commissioner Batts says people are confusing, the officers, too, are confusing stand down with hold the line. And yet Commissioner Batts, before he made that comment to the Baltimore Sun, insisted that he do one thing. They called him up and said, we want to talk to you. We want to talk to you about some tapes that have just surfaced. And there was one thing he wanted to do before he'd comment on the record about what his comments were and what his commands were. Why don't you tell the audience what it was?
Well, exactly. He wanted to listen to the tape so he knew what kind of questions he was going to be asked, what kind of evidence there was. And it goes to this very point, and that is if there wasn't a stand-down order, Megyn, if there was no issue here for police to do their job, why aren't so many police officers in trouble for doing nothing as the city burned?
That's a good question. Leland, thank you. For more on this now, we turn to Tom Verney, a retired detective with the NYPD who runs the website offbeatcop.com, which is a blog about policing. Tom, good to see you.
Good to see you.
And so repeatedly they denied. Listen, just so there's no doubt, listen to what the police commissioner and the mayor said about their orders after the riots.
There was no one in my command who gave a stand-down order. We all have had that conversation that we never gave that direction at any given point in time.
We could have calmed down and then calmed it down aggressively and been accused of using excessive force, or we could do what we did, which was to use a very serious but measured approach.
There was no order to hold back.
No.
Or was there?
No, but you have to understand it's not holding back, it's responding appropriately.
And now the audio tapes directly contradict that. And he gets out of it after he listens to the tape by saying, well, hold back is different than stand down.
Yeah. I mean, is anyone shocked by this? It seemed very apparent that when the mayor had come out and said, she said herself that we allowed them room to destroy, space to destroy. Who does that?
And then she denied saying that. What she said was, I never said that. Actually, listen, we have it. Listen, watch.
Area patrol was been advised not to respond down to the protesters.
That's the other article. But we have her coming out right after she said, I gave them space to destroy, saying I never said it, nor would I say it. And people are twisting my words.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of backpedal when you say that in front of a bunch of news cameras at a news conference.
Is there some difference, though, between hold back and stand down?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can hold a line, you can hold back if you're trying to hold a certain line, preventing protesters or rioters from reaching a certain point, and then just standing down completely and just kind of laying your hands, up in the air and let them, run amok throughout the city. The bottom line is that police departments, especially larger police departments like New York, like Baltimore, they are trained, they have officers trained for large events like this, protests, riots, things that get out of control. They have a whole method behind the madness as to how they police these types of obstructions and people who are looking to destroy a city. For really no other reason other than a bunch of opportunists that are just roaming the streets looking to set things on fire and steal a bag of Doritos.
Well, and she just let them. She just let them. That's the bottom line. And with Hemmer, you heard her say, well, it's not really holding back. It's responding appropriately. And now we hear the orders that went out from her. The mayor was calling the shots that night.
Of course she is. Yeah.
Is the mayor supposed to be in charge? Let's remind the audience, 160 cops were injured. The rioting will cost taxpayers $20 million. 380 businesses were damaged. 61 buildings were burned. 144 vehicles were burned because the mayor wanted people to have space to destroy.
The whole thing is incompetent in the best possible scenario. It's reckless in the worst possible scenario. I mean, many more people could have been injured and or killed in this scenario. You don't let the mayor do the policing in a riot situation. You let the police do that because that's what they're trained for. Especially the police department, again, like I said, in Baltimore, Baltimore is a great police department. I know they've had their issues, just like New York has had their issues.
They know what to do in a situation like
that. You put dozens or hundreds of people in the street that are looking to cause chaos. They're going to get out there with the people that they need to get out there to do the police that event. It may not happen instantaneously, but it's going to happen because that's what they're trained to do.
They were told not to do it.
You have to let them police because that's what their job is.
They said you protect life and not property. That's basically what they were told, and that the results show it.
Yeah.
I mean, the injuries to the police were apparently not a big concern. Great to see you. Thank you for being here, Tom.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Also tonight, we are seeing dramatic headlines about what are being called a series of suspicious fires at black churches in the weeks since the Charleston shooting. The Kelly file